So there are a lot of private security professionals or private security agency owners who are now starting to talk about drones in private security, right? And while it's a good development, a lot of the stakeholders in the industry are missing out on the bigger opportunity in private security. But for you to be able to truly appreciate this bigger opportunity, I must start with a reality check for you. So first question, if a rogue drone flew over your client's property right now, do you have a plan or would you just watch it? Right? It's a simple yes no question, and you should be able to answer this in 1 second or less, because that is what the reality will be for you or your organization. Second question is, can your current team identify whether a drone overhead is harmless or carrying a dangerous payload? Right? So the first question is, do you really have a plan? The second question is, if at all you have something resembling a plan, would you be able to identify between a harmless versus a harmful drone? Third question, how many seconds would it take for your team to detect and respond to a hostile drone before it either disappears or does its job? Right? So the biggest learning from drones being involved in warfare so extensively now is that they are extremely fast at what they are supposed to be doing. So if your turnaround time, if your response time is not faster than what it takes for the drone to do its job, you will already lose out in that race. Last question, are you or your organization ready for the day when your client asks, what's your counter drone capability? Right? So today, a lot of clients are now talking about what are your drone security solutions, but there will be a day sooner than later where they'll start asking you about your counter drone capability. So by now, you would have guessed what is that bigger opportunity that I've been referring to, but let me make it crystal clear. So the bigger private security opportunity than drones is in counter or anti-drone services, right? Because as I said, there is going to be a day where your client is going to ask you about counter anti-drone services that you as a security provider or as a security professional can or cannot provide, right? But why am I saying that this is a bigger opportunity? So there are three major reasons for that. First is that private security agencies will always encounter more drone related threats than they will use drones as a tool. So understand this, when we talk about drones in private security, most use cases that we discuss are defensive in nature. It is all centered around the ISR capabilities of drones, intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance, right? But when we talk about the threat landscape, which by the way has been evolving rapidly, right? You will agree that now threats are 3D in nature. They are not just land based, they are also sky based, right? And a major part of that is coming from drones. So tomorrow, in an increasingly unsecure world, you will have to counter aerial threats far more frequently than you do or think about today, right? Case in point is that Mr. Mukesh Ambani of Reliance Industries recently received a threat from across the border saying that if at all there is a conflict tomorrow, these people are going to hit the assets of Mr. Mukesh Ambani, right? So naturally, these threats are going to come from the sky, right? So there has to be that element of counter drone or anti-drone technology in the security apparatus, in the security architecture of facilities that are of importance today. The second reason is that counter drone solutions are much more expensive than drone themselves, right? Again, this is what we have seen in the international conflicts that are currently ongoing, that drones are becoming faster, more effective, more agile, as well as cheaper by the day. But counter drone technology is still expensive. For example, a drone which costs about a few thousand US dollars is being brought down using missiles which cost about millions of US dollars, right? So there's only so much that you can do in terms of countering drones when you have this kind of a financial imbalance, right? So today, as we see it, counter drones, anti drones is much more expensive than drones, right? So that is why in US dollar terms, this is still a much bigger opportunity. And the third reason is that not many private security agencies are thinking about this seriously. So as I said, most private security agencies or private security professionals are now beginning to talk about drones in security, whereas the threat landscape and the client expectations have already moved ahead, right? We must start thinking about anti-drones and counter-drones in private security as well, right? So not a lot of private security agencies are doing this, which is why it is a white space for somebody like you. That is why I'm saying that counter-drones is a bigger opportunity than drones themselves. So how does one update themselves about what is really happening with drones or counter drones for that matter? One is by watching this video till the end. The second is there are a lot of resources available online on YouTube, LinkedIn, etc. And we are also doing an all about drones in private security to our online workshop, where we are going to discuss in detail what is going on with regards to drones from a private security perspective. What is new? Where is this technology headed? We are going to deep dive into counter drones and the use cases that are relevant again from a private security perspective. We are going to talk about a lot more regarding drones, right? So you can find all the details as well as the registration process using the link in the description below. But now let me share with you the kind of counter drone technology solutions available right now in the market. So this again is going to be from a private security lens. You have to understand that unlike the armed forces, we cannot shoot down drones. So we are not going to go for something which is a hard kill solution for a drone, but we are going to talk about solutions which are soft kills, right? So these are the solutions that are available right now. We have anti-drone guns. These do not shoot bullets or missiles. These shoot microwaves, which bring down a drone. Then we have GPS spoofers, which mess up the GPS signals that a drone receives and basically makes it directionless. Then we have drone interceptors. These are other drones which again fly in the air and then intercept the rogue drones in the air itself. Then we have net guns. These can be deployed from the surface directly or from drone interceptors flying in the air. Then we have radio frequency jammers. Again, this messes up the communication that a drone has with its handler. And then we have radars and scanners. In some cases, these scanners also help you identify the location of the drone pilot. So not only can you go after the drone, you can actually go after the drone pilot and nip the issue in the bud, right? So the point is that there is a lot that is happening with regards to drones, and more so when we talk about counter drones. And you would now be able to appreciate that as a private security professional, you really need to focus on this part of the equation much more than the first part itself, right? So again, coming back to this reality check, hopefully you will now do something that will change your initial answers to all of these questions, right? So if you do not have a drone or a counter drone strategy within your security agency or organization, now is the time to start preparing for it. Because trust me, this technology is evolving faster than anybody can catch up, right? So it will only help you if you try and stay ahead of the curve. So thank you for watching this video till the end. I am Manan Batra, the founder and CEO of 360 PSA, where we work with private security agency owners as well as private security professionals to transform the private security industry. How do we exactly do that is something that we can discuss one-on-one. You'll also find a link to schedule a free discovery call with us in the description below. So if you're really serious about private security, we'd love to get in touch with you.